So you want to get started coding your own projects for the Game Boy Advance. You have a bit of programming knowledge and are looking for some tutorials, and well, there aren't very many for the GBA. When I search GBA programming tutorials on YouTube, I get videos about building games and emulators for the original Game Boy, and a few more narrative-based videos about making games for the Game Boy Advance, but no real tutorials. Don't get me wrong, there are tons of resources for reading and learning about the GBA. Our Bible is Tonk, which should be the starting place for anyone interested in GBA programming, but nobody is really making programming tutorials for the GBA. Meanwhile, there are thousands of in-depth coding tutorials for projects in C and C++, Python, JavaScript, every programming language you could imagine. If you try to directly copy these over, line for line, or word for word to the GBA, you might get code that compiles, but it will not run on the GBA. I shouldn't say it won't run, it just won't be able to show you anything, or be able to hear anything. There's a goldmine of tutorials that the GBA just will never get to see, I guess. Until today. I can't create every single tutorial out there, but what I can do is make a tutorial on how to put any tutorial on the GBA. And this is that. The best place to start this process is making sure we can get code that compiles for the GBA. And the first choice that will be made is what language this code will be written in. Ultimately, this decision is pretty much a preference, and you're going to learn so much about the GBA regardless of whichever you choose, so I recommend choosing whichever is the most exciting to you, comfortable to you, maybe easiest to you. For almost game engine-like coding experiences, you could use C++ and Butano, a library for the GBA, or Lua and the BP core engine. These options have the lowest barrier to entry because the developers of these libraries have provided user-friendly functions and interfaces for working with the GBA, but there might be some desirable edge cases that they just can't handle. These will also give more of an experience similar to modern game development if you're looking to build more transferable skills. If you're willing to get your hands a little dirtier and work a little bit closer to the GBA hardware, there are a bunch of options for bare bones libraries and development kits for C and C++, Assembly, Rust, and Nim. I honestly have never heard of Nim, but they've got a GBA library, so that's your calling, go for it. These options require a little bit more knowledge of the GBA hardware, but make interacting with the hardware pretty easy without compromising very much on its capabilities. And lastly, you could go from scratch, which requires an extremely intimate knowledge of the hardware and memory addresses and registers. There's no libraries or engines, it's just you and a text editor and a dream. Fortunately, I think anyone watching this video that has that knowledge does not really need this tutorial at all. Okay, so we picked our language, and either you picked a tutorial to go through already, or you're looking to pick a tutorial to try and implement. The only caveat to this decision is that the GBA is not a supercomputer. It's not even a modern computer. It doesn't have 16 gigabytes of RAM or an RTX 7000 graphics card. Technically, you get 60 frames per second, but only on a screen with 240 by 160 pixels. Compare that to a modern PC with resolutions of 1920 by 1080 at 144 frames per second, and the GBA seems pretty puny, but it might surprise you with what it's capable of. For reference, the simplest 3D games like Duke Nukem and Doom are nearing the top end of what the GBA can do. I would avoid any tutorial that seems like it might get close or exceed those capabilities. On a more encouraging note, tutorials are not usually tied to one programming language. If you understand the logic and can implement all of the pieces of a Python tutorial in C++ or Rust, you're not stuck to Python. I would avoid anything that seems to focus or heavily rely on a specific library. You might end up finding yourself rewriting the entire library in addition to the full tutorial. That could just spiral into something overwhelming. Overall, it can be a bit more of a challenge, but rewriting code in a different language is a great exercise in being a more versatile programmer. As for actually following the tutorial, we can follow it the entire way. The one thing to do while you follow the tutorial is to mark or take note of any place in the tutorial that has to do with drawing something to the screen. This will need some intervention on our part to make sure it can display to the GBA properly. This part of the process requires a decent understanding of the GBA graphics and some reasoning skills on our part. If you haven't read through the first half of the Bible, Tonk, at this point in the project, the time has come. You need to read it. Trust me on this one. It will help an insane amount, like an immeasurable amount, in helping you complete this tutorial. We want to replicate what the example code is displaying, but using the tools available to us from the GBA. The two main tools that we have that can be drawn to the screen are backgrounds and sprites. Sprites are small individual graphics that can be drawn and manipulated independent from all other sprites and backgrounds. The GBA can display up to 128 sprites that can range in size from 8x8 pixels to 64x64 pixels. Of those 128 sprites, only 32 of them can be affine sprites, which allow for zooming, stretching, and rotating. The rest are considered regular and can be translated and flipped, but otherwise not modified. Backgrounds are rectangular images that can cover the entire screen, and there are two background display modes with 3 variations each: tiled mode and bitmap mode. Bitmap modes draw each individual pixel and are better for more intricate displays like first-person shooters or other 3D games, but can be really hard on performance. Tiled modes display backgrounds using 8x8 tiles and maps loaded into VRAM, and are much more performant, making them the default for commercial games. The different variations for each background mode do different things, like enable or disable different features, or decide how many background layers can be drawn at a time. Only one of these background modes can be selected at a time, so it's important to consider how you will use sprites and backgrounds together to recreate the visualizations of the tutorial. And this is where our intervention occurs. We want to look at all of the spots in the tutorial that we noted when it comes to displaying graphics, and start working on implementing the GBA equivalent features. Let's say I'm following a tutorial on creating a physics engine. When the tutorial creates a window for displaying on the PC, I can instead enable a background mode that works for displaying on the GBA. And then when a ball is drawn to the screen, I can enable sprites and then create a sprite of that ball. If that ball needs to rotate, I'll just make sure that it's an affine sprite. If you haven't worked with the GBA very much, this will definitely take some time and research to implement, but it is the most crucial part of developing for the GBA, and it does get a lot easier with practice. You finally got the graphics to work and things are looking good. Unless the tutorial you followed wasn't great, or it's just a little too much for the GBA to handle, or you just got unlucky and it's running kinda slow. This part requires some computer science critical thinking for you, the developer. We must go back through the code to improve the performance of the program to the best of our ability. There are quite a few simple ways that you can improve performance pretty quickly. The first thing I look at are any loops I use in my code, especially ones that run every frame or really frequently. And I ask, is there any way I can get out of this loop early or skip some of its iteration? I'm checking if 2 balls on a pool table have collided. I'm comparing every ball on the table, even the ones in opposite corners of the table. I don't need to compare all of those. If the balls are more than 20 pixels away, I can just skip that comparison completely. This can really help avoid doing meaningless calculations that will definitely result one way or the other. Another opportunity for performance improvement is avoiding expensive operations or functions, like division, for example. It's a pretty expensive operation for the CPU, especially in comparison to addition or multiplication, but it's vital for so many different applications. You can try to reduce the amount of times you need to make these calculations by storing the outcome or avoiding unnecessary uses of the operation. There are so many more ways to optimize your code for performance that I don't even know, and are not unique to the GBA at all. If these code changes improve performance here, they could improve performance in any code base, and they could make the difference between watching a slideshow and playing a video game. And if the performance step went well, you should have a working piece of code for the GBA. This is the process I'm using to build a physics engine of my own, which will be ready soon. Make sure you're subscribed to get it personally delivered to your feed the second it comes out. And I really like this process. I feel like it's helped me learn a lot about the GBA really quickly too. Generally, it works pretty well, but there's a lot of nuance to it, and you won't truly know if it will work for your tutorial until you try it for yourself. There are some tutorials that are just too complex to run smoothly on the GBA, or require a hardware feature that the GBA doesn't have. And that kinda sucks, especially if it takes getting all the way through this process to realize it. But regardless, the whole process is a great way to learn. You've done most of the project, hopefully you learned something about how the code works, and something about how the GBA works, and are more prepared for your next GBA project or coding project in general. If you do try out this technique and are putting something on the GBA, share it in the comments and check out what other people have done. Alright, thanks for watching.